So if you don't have a yoga mat, just grab some space on the floor. If you have dumbbells of any weight around your house or something like this, these are like little things that people can use for the wrist support for push-ups. These may be helpful during our class, so you can just put them somewhere around your mat. You definitely don't need them if you don't have them close by or handy. But it could give us a little more height as we are moving through some poses, make things a little bit easier. So we will get started today in child's pose. So reach your fingertips all the way forward, make it active. We're going to sit the hips back, bring the forehead all the way down, and just start to take deep breaths and feel your belly expanding between your knees. Start to focus on your breathing. From here, just start to bring the hands a little bit back, come up onto the knees. We'll start in our tabletop position. We're going to move through a couple rounds of cat and cow, just warming up the spine. So on your inhale, lift up the chin and tailbone. And on your exhale, round out the back, push it towards the ceiling. 2 more times like that. Then we'll come back into a neutral spine. Bring the hands just a little bit wider on the mat. And you can bring your knees closer together. From here, just dip the hips all the way over to the right. Come back into center, all the way over to the left. Go back and forth like this a few times. Again, following your breath, so if you want to go down on your inhales and come up back into center on the exhales. One more time each side. Back into center now. We'll tuck the toes under. Stretch up the feet a little bit, just push back through the hands. With the feet. Feeling active. And then we're going to bring the right hand into the center of the chest. Just bring the knees a little bit wider. Big toes can come to touch. Inhale the left arm all the way up. And on the exhale, loop it through. You can bring the forehead down. 2 more times like this. Some gentle twisting of the thoracic spine. One more time, inhale up. And loop it through. We'll inhale up again just to transition. So on your exhale, bring the left hand down, replace the right hand in the center of the chest. And then inhale the right arm up. And loop it through on the exhale. 2 more times. Follow your breath and your flow and your speed. The next time you inhale up, take the right hand down to the mat, just beside the left. We'll come back into our tabletop. And then just push up to a tall kneeling position. Bring your hands as if you were putting them into your back pockets. And just push the elbows back behind you, gentle back bend. And release. Start to bring the hands down, tuck the toes in. Just lift the knees up off the mat just an inch or 2. Hold here, feel the core turning on. And release, bring the knees back down, take a breath. Lift back up on your next inhale, and just with the knees an inch or 2 off the ground, start to rock back and forth over the wrists. One more breath, and then bring the knees back down. Bring the hands a little bit wider. This time we'll lift the hips all the way up, coming into our downward dog. You can keep a really big bend at the knees still, as the hamstrings start to warm up. Pedal up the feet, stretch out the calves, roll around the ankles, whatever you need to do here to feel like you can come to stillness and get all the wiggles out of the body. Take 2 breaths here when you found your stillness. And then we'll start to tiptoe to the top of the mat, fold all the way forward. Let the head be really heavy, maybe shake it yes and no. Just releasing anything in the neck. And then on your next inhale, roll the spine all the way up to stand. Big exhale at the top. Inhale, bring the hands up overhead. Look towards your hands. And exhale, fold forward. If your dumbbells or your props are at the top of your mat, you can bring them onto your mat now. And on your next inhale, we'll come to halfway lift. Bring the fingers to the shins. And when you release down into your fold on the exhale, instead of bringing your hands to the mat, which you can still do if you don't have these props, you can bring your hands down onto the dumbbells. We'll just tiptoe all the way back until we're in a plank. And hold here. And then we'll practice our chaturanga push-ups with this little bit of elevation. So just come down halfway and lift back up. And then hold here and plank again. Excellent. From here, you're just going to take your right foot forward. And with this extra bit of height, you might notice that your foot goes up higher than you're used to. And then take the right foot back. Bring the left foot forward. Then take the left foot back. And then send the hips all the way up. Come into a downward dog. And from here, bring the right foot forward. And then take it back. You'll notice this rocking as you shift forward. And you can go slow here, or you can start to pick up speed. This is going to be some work in the core, and it'll get the heart rate up a little bit. But you're essentially hopping back and forth, and with this extra height from your dumbbells, you'll be able to get a little bit of an easier transition instead of doing like a regular mountain climber. So go back and forth like that a few times, as slow or as fast as feels good. And try to make your landings really soft. One more time each side. And then step back into your downward dog again. Bring the knees down, remove your props, slide all the way to the front of the body. Bring your hands just slightly forward, and on your next inhale, loop the shoulders up into cobra. And then exhale, release. Inhale, rise up. Bring the left shoulder down, look over the right. And release. Inhale one more time. Right shoulder down, look over the left. And release. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Push up through your tabletop and into your down dog. Take 2 breaths here, have a rest. And then we'll pick up the right foot, bring it all the way up and back behind you. You can bend the knee and open up that hip if it feels good, and make some big circles with the knee. A couple times in either direction, see if you can get some cracks out. And then we'll send that right foot to the top of the mat, between the hands. Lift the arms up overhead, high lunge. From here, we're going to focus on our pranayama, our breath. So on your exhale, bring the hands down by your sides. Inhale, lift them up overhead. Keep doing this 3 more times, focusing on stability in the legs as you move your arms back and forth. And again, and as always, follow your own breath and your own speed. One more time. Hold here at the top with the hands overhead. And then just start to bring the hands slightly over to the right, so we're getting a bit more of a stretch in that left hip flexor. And hold. And release the hands. You can bring your props back in or just do your normal vinyasa. We're going to take the left foot back beside the right. We'll move through chaturanga, upward facing dog, and we'll meet in our downward dog. From here, if you are on your dumbbells or even if you're on your hands, we'll go back and forth like we did with our feet last time, or you can practice hopping to the top of your mat, which is much tougher than it looks. But with this extra height, you might find that it's a little bit easier. So shift your weight all the way forward and then hop to the top, and then you can hop back your feet to the bottom when you're in plank. So this is, well, it feels much easier for me when I have these props. Otherwise it feels kind of clunky. So this is my hop without my props. Just feels a little more crammed. But you can practice that a few more times, or just with your feet going back and forth, what we were doing last time. We'll do 2 more breaths there, and then we'll end up back in our down dog. So you can make your way back to downward dog whenever you're ready. Take 2 breaths, take a rest. And then we'll take that left foot all the way up into the air behind you, bend the knee, open the hip, and rotate that knee a few times in either direction, getting out any cracks. Send the left foot forward between the hands and lift up into your high lunge. We're going to do the same breathing exercise, so exhaling the arms down, inhaling them back up overhead. 3 more times. Focusing on your stability. Last one. Then hold with the arms overhead. Shift the hands over to the left, get more of a stretch in that right hip. And hold here. Come back into center, bring the hands back down to frame the left foot. You can bring your props back on. We'll move through a vinyasa. So you can always do your vinyasas with bringing the knees down and moving through cobra if that feels better. Or your chaturanga, upward facing dog, and we'll all meet in our downward dog. And breathe here. 2 big breaths. You can start to tiptoe to the top of your mat. Fold all the way forward. And on your next breath in, just wiggle the legs as you come up to stand. We're going to work on a little bit of balance here today. So bring more of your weight into your right foot. Just feel your weight shift. On your next inhale, lift, pick up the left knee, bring it into the center of your chest. Hold here for a breath. And then you can grab onto that left knee with the left hand, take it out to the side. You can counterbalance with your right arm out to the side. If you'd like to challenge yourself, you can try reaching for the big toe or the inside of the foot. And holding there, but this is perfectly fine. Whatever your body feels like doing today. Bring that left knee back into the center. Send it all the way back behind you. Coming into our warrior 3 for just a second. And then we'll start to shift back up. Bring the left foot into the left hand. You're grabbing the inside of the foot. Moving into downstairs pose. So kick the foot back into the hand. It'll propel you forward a little bit. Reach that right hand forward. Find a single point of focus on the wall. It makes it so much easier to balance. Keep a little micro bend in that standing knee. 1 more breath. And release. You can come back to standing. Bring that left knee back into the chest. Grab onto the shin, squeeze it in. And then left foot goes back beside the right. Shake out the legs. Let's do the other side. So bring your weight into your left foot. Pick up that right knee when you're ready, bring it into center. Take a breath here. And then take the right knee out to the side, grab onto it with your right hand, counterbalance with the other hand. And if you took us a bit deeper on the other side, you can try on this side too. Wherever you are, start to bring it back into center. Send that right foot all the way back behind you. Coming into our warrior three for just a second. And then shift closer towards standing, bring the right foot into the right hand. Grab the foot on the inside and kick back into your hand. Move into your dancer's pose. Single point of focus. And release. Start to bring that right knee back to the front. Grab onto the shin, squeeze it in. And then place the right foot down beside the left. Shake out the legs. Okay, from here, feet are hip width apart. Inhale the arms overhead. Grab onto the left wrist with the right hand and just pull the hands over to the right. Stretch out the left side of the body. And release, come through center, switch the grip, bring the hands over to the left. Come back into center with the arms. Bring them back down by your sides. We're gonna step lengthwise on the mat here. And your toes can be pointing forward, as wide of a stance as feels good for you. We're gonna interlace the hands behind the back, just pull the chest out and forward, stretch out through the collarbones. And then hinge at the hips. Let gravity bring your hands down. Getting even more of a stretch throughout the shoulders. If this doesn't feel good on your shoulders, you can bring the hands down to the floor in front of you and pull through your finger pads so you're stretching up through the spine. Or you can bring your hands to your shins or your feet and just really focus on folding. And releasing here. One more breath. And then we'll start to rise back up, bring the hands to the hips. Hinge back towards standing. Heel toe the feet are closer, a little bit closer in together. And we're going to bring the hands to the knees, just sink down into a bit of a squat. You can rock back and forth here, opening up through the hips. And we'll do the same thing we did in Cobra. We're going to bring your left shoulder down, look over the right. Come back into center, reverse, bring the right shoulder down, look over the left. Do that a few more times each side. Still following your breath. Using your hands on your knees as some leverage in this twist. Once you feel equal here, you can start to stand back up, shake out the legs one more time. Just walk to the top of the mat, come back to standing. Well, inhale the arms overhead again, look towards the hands. And while your hands are up here, just come up onto the tippy toes. Really stretch everything out. Come back down, look towards your feet. Heel toe the feet to the outer edges of the mat. And reach forward as you sit your hips back, come into your yogi squat. You can go back and forth through the feet here a little bit. If you want a little bit of mobility throughout the hips, if your hips are feeling particularly tight. Or you can just reach as far forward as you can, and this is a nice release for the low back. From here, just start to bring your hands closer in, come down to your bum. Bring the feet out in front and down onto the mat. Take the feet all the way forward. We're going to inhale the arms up and reach for your toes or your shins, whatever's available to you today. One more breath here. And then you can come back up into a straight spine. Tent the fingertips behind you. Push the chest out. Back into neutral. Bring the feet in and bring them to touch. Open them up as if you were about to start reading a book. If you'd like to have something underneath your knees here, that can be really helpful for letting things relax and release. But if this feels okay for you here in butterfly, just start to hinge forward at the hips. Just as much as feels good. Come back up into center. Take the legs out long. We're going to come down all the way to our backs. Bring the feet close to the bum so you can touch your heels with your fingertips. We're going to lift up the next breath in. Lift the hips all the way, coming into a bridge. Roll the shoulders underneath you. Focus on bringing the knees in towards each other. And we'll take 3 more breaths here. Try to make your breaths equal. So the same count on your inhales and your exhales. You can start to release the hips slowly back down towards your mat. Squeeze the knees in towards you. Give yourself a hug. And then we'll take the legs out long, coming into Shavasana, or resting pose. This is a pretty energetic practice, an energy building practice. So just let things settle into your body. We'll take a few breaths here. Notice what feels different now than 25 minutes ago when we started. And start to bring your awareness back into your hands and your feet. We won't take too long of a Shavasana today. So we want to keep this energy as we head into the rest of our day. So you never want to feel like after yoga, like you're totally exhausted and you need to go have a nap. You want it to energize you and pick you up for your day ahead. So from here, just start to bring the feet in, roll to one side, and we'll come up to seated. Finding a comfortable cross-legged position. You can bring your hands to your knees or up into heart center. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you again soon. Namaste. And if you are new to Zerv, welcome. I hope that you'll check out my next class. I'm teaching Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon. And if you have any requests for class, please let us know. Please tell a friend or a family member. We'd love to see you there.
All right, thank you so much, Megan.